Oh, yeah. Hello, guys. Good evening, guys, and welcome back to the Football Fan Zone. We're going to be doing a welcome to the Mandem talks, and I've got with me Drex, Admiral Drex. It's been a while, man.
Yo,
How are you doing? How are you doing, man?
oh,
How are
yeah,
you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Went to Toronto last week, over the weekend, so from Thursday for a church program, and it was awesome. Got back to base yesterday. Yeah, all in
Okay,
all, it's been good.
awesome, awesome stuff. Like, we're going to be talking about a lot, and I will try as much as to get it fast and done with because my internet is not allowing me to follow you today. It's just crazy,
It
man.
happens. One of them.
Honestly.
Sometimes you just wake up one morning and they just begin to act crazy.
Ah, man, it's crazy, man. It's honestly crazy. Where do we even start from? Because I've got a lot I want us to just talk about because I've been seeing people, making arguments, and the latest one I've seen is the one for Naemri and Arteta.
Teta.
You know, yeah, and for who should start for what's it called for England between Kopama and Bukayo Saka. That is
Okay.
another one.
Okay.
And we also been talking about the fact that there's a possibility, or it has been announced that Mo Salah will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season for free. And for me, I think that is the fumbled, man. Honestly, the fumbled on this one because how do you allow this guy go live for free? I don't know if there's true in that or it was still common. Then Carlo Ancelotti said the La Liga has more quality than the Premiership. That's another thing we're going to be looking at. Then
That
the
one.
last
That
one,
that one in itself. Let's just. I think we're gonna start from that one.
okay,
We're gonna start with that one. That one, and that's a quick one. Color quality,
Mhm.
more quality in Premiership. It's more
Yeah.
like, yeah. Let's start with that one. What's the fourth one for the agenda? What's on the fourth one on the
The
list?
first one will be who had a better career between Di Maria and what's it called, Eden Hazard.
Eden Hazard. Okay. Let's start with the Carlo Ancelotti one. Let's start with the
Okay.
Carlo Ancelotti take. I believe. I believe for me. One second. Let me just see if I. Let me just see.
Hmm.
For me, it's a case of I feel like the over the years, right? In the last 5 6 years, the La Liga have actually produced some talent, good talent,
Hmm.
right? And it's for me they had more talent in terms of technical ability when we put it that way compared to the Premier
Okay.
League, right? More in the last maybe 5 6 years, but slowly I feel like with the wealth of the Premier League, right?
Hmm.
With their reach and all of that, they've been able to pull in some beautiful talent and they've been able to grow some talent as well, right? So they are catching up, but I would still say La Liga has um, La Liga has talent compared to the. If you actually want to look at it from the point of the homegrown talent, La Liga would have it. Now, if you look at
Hmm.
the influx in terms of foreign players, right? I still feel like they just have an edge slightly over the Premier League, right? They just have an
Yeah.
edge. A slight. So if let's put it into percentage for me, in my opinion, this is not gospel. This is my opinion. I would percentage wise, I would say La Liga should be 55. Premiership should be 40, 45 thereabout. But in 5 years or 6 years ago, that gap was a little bit wider than
Hmm.
that. So for me, I feel like Carlo, Spanish La Liga have talent, technical abilities. They have got it. Application to plan, they have it, right? So yeah, they do.
Because I do agree with the statement as well, man. When I saw it, I could not just help it, but I agree with the statement because There's a lot of stars in a lot of talent in the Liga, man. Honestly, lot of talent in the Liga. So I think I do agree with Carlo Ancelotti, and I think, but before now, we used to know the Premiership to have quality. Every player you know, every player you see, they want to play in the Premiership. But all of a sudden, that has changed. Like, what really contributed to that factor by people do not want to like they would rather go to La Liga or Real Madrid or Barcelona than rather come to United because or at United or England Premiership as a whole because
Oh,
you'll be known
there's
having
several
quality.
factors, bro. There are several factors. There are several factors. For me, I feel like one, the Premiership is tough. Whereas we like to say, oh, some players prefer the likes of Barcelona and in Real Madrid, and that maybe
Hmm.
Atletico Madrid, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, those are basically the three team right there that more like the powerhouse, right? Girona, I know Girona
yeah.
broke through this past season. A couple of clubs have come in that mix as well, right? But it's just them three, more like, in my opinion, more like monopoly, right? And
Yeah,
with, like I said, with the Premiership has money, right?
yeah,
It's
true,
tough.
true, true.
It's a tough league. It's built around most of the time, before Pep came in. If we want to, it's built around this core of English, the way the English likes to play football, right? It's
Yeah,
more like that.
yeah.
There's a blend. You see, it's their thing. There's a blend, right? So, um, but the Spanish is all you. We all know how the Spanish team. The La Liga has its own. You could look at the team and you say there's a blend, right? It's harder
Hmm.
than in La Liga. Let me give you an example. In La Liga, a player might have the ball, a skillful player has the ball, and it's got time. They give him space to do whatever he wants to do. But in the Premier League, you have the ball, you're closed down quickly, so you have to
Yeah.
think outside the box, right? That's why when a player comes to the Premier League and they excel superbly, it's a plus for them most of the time when they go to La Liga or when they go to the Spanish league. So it's for me. And also, let's not forget that some players just don't like hard football. Whilst we
Yeah,
want to, some players just want to play football where they are comfortable, and
true.
also there's
Yeah,
family issue. There's also the angle of, okay, how do I move my family, right, all the way from
yeah,
Spain to
yeah.
England, the language barrier, the new culture, settling down. So
Yeah,
there's so many factors. But if we point it down to the footballing fact reason, it's just La Liga is a lot easier. When I use the word easier, some people would think I'm insulting. No, it's more suitable for those type of players, adaptability and all of that for them, right, than the Premier League. That's what I mean, because the Premier League, whether we like it or not, is Premier League at one time was known to be a very fast, even up to now, a fast-paced league. The German the German
true.
Bundesliga used to be the one that everybody would say, oh, they move fast, they are hard. But over time, Premier League have incorporated the fast pace, the toughness, everything into their adding with the British style of football into their mix, and they become with the more like, I wouldn't let me just borrow the word exposure, right? Without the global eyes on them. So it's more marketable, everybody could see. So it's, for me, it's just a case of what the player wants. Some players just don't, they're not cut out for those type of hard football. So
That's true. That's true. That's true. I agree with you. I agree with you. Everything you're saying, man. Vegeta, big
Yo,
up, Vegeta. Welcome. How are
what's up,
you?
guys?
I'm
I'm
fine. I'm
alright,
fine. I'm
bro.
fine.
I've been better. I was sick for the last couple of days, hence why no streams. But yeah, the life of having kids, right? You get better for 1 week, and then next week you catch something else. No, I was just listening to you
Dude.
guys, and I know the first inclination from Premier League fans is to maybe defend the Premiership, but I don't think there's anything
Hmm.
wrong with what Carlos said. I would put it this way, right? The Premier League is an athletic league. It's where like top athletes go to play football because you're running all the time. So you need to have
Yeah.
fitness from, I don't know, from the heavens. You're getting pressed all the time. A lot of it. you're sitting back most of the teams, so you're trying to get in behind it. So it's a lot. It's a physical and an athletic league, whereas La Liga is a technical league. From the back to the
Yeah.
forward, you're almost required to know how to play football. Not to say that people who play in the Premier League don't know, but there's a reason why we shop in certain leagues for certain styles of play. Like the Spanish league
Yeah.
or League R, because they've got more technically gifted players that might not always work out in the Premier League. Simply because, like Drex was saying, you won't always have the time and space to do what you want to do in the Premier League. On the other hand, if you're technically gifted and they give you all that space in Spain,
You would cook. You would cook.
it's your
You
You
playground,
cook.
cope with
bro.
time.
You cook more than two meals in the space of 5 minutes. You're done cooking.
You know, so that's how I look at
Like
it, and
what
I think,
Mason Greenwood did.
yeah,
Yeah, there are some. Now you touched on Greenwood. There are some talent, right? Like that. Okay. Like I said earlier, you get a talent from Premier League that's good, goes to La Liga, and is like, yo, what's this? What this is easy, bro. So for someone like Nico Will. That's why it was a shame. We didn't get to see an Eden Hazard's proper time at Real Madrid, right? Because he would have cooked in that league, right? So like Nico
mm,
Williams leaving Atletico Bilbao and say let's go. He comes to Chelsea. I'm not going to mix in what there. He would get it tough because for a young child he was so it's just that some it's too technically sound for the La Liga. For Premier League, bro, you need your techniques to be on point, you need your technicality to be on point, you need your physicality to be on point as well, right? You can't come to the Premier. If you notice, most players that are skillful in the Premier League, when they come in, they're a little bit lightweight, and people start telling them you have to bulk up, you have to bulk up if you want, So that's and if you're a player that bulking up might just take a little bit of your technicality away, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's so it is for me. He didn't. There was no mistake in that statement. I feel like, yeah, depending on the angle you want to look at it from. That's how I say it.
Yeah. Confirm. I do believe so, man. I do believe they've got more quality than the Premiership, but Premiership is more exciting than La Liga. I don't know if it's the time they play it because it gets more
No,
viewed.
I think it's because it's a personality. I've watched the La Liga game, bro, and I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, I wish these players in my team. I wish these players in my team. Because
Hmm.
you could see how they're moving. If you watch a Brighton last season, right? I
Yeah.
tell you, a Brighton, if you take that Brighton team and put it in La Liga, bro, it will knock off. I think I'm not going to. It might knock off Atletico Madrid from third spot, if not right, because they are gifted. So when I watch La Liga games, I'm like, which I want this person in my team. I want this person in my team, right? So it's if you're looking for technicality and technical players and very intelligent players, you get them in the La Liga. If you're looking for fun, spectacular, and all of that, come to Premier League, bro.
Come to Premiership. You get it there. Now, moving on, guys. Moving on, guys. Who should start for England between Saka and Palmer? Or should I say who's a better player between Saka and Palmer?
Miss Vegeta here. Vegeta, you want to go first? Okay, let me go. I like Palmer. I like
Hmm.
Saka. I like Bukayo. I like Saka. I like Palmer. Um, Maybe my bias will speak here a little bit. I would start Parker. Parker knows how to.
Saka.
No, no, no. Cole Palmer. I would start Cole Palmer. Sorry, I would
Okay.
start Cole Palmer, and because I feel like he knows how to work with strikers better for England than Saka. Don't see, guys watching. Please don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Palmer is a better player than Saka. No, 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 no. That's not the debate here. The question here. I feel like the question here is who should start.
Yeah.
who would get the best in terms of the English team? How do you get the best out of the English team in terms of your final third? I feel Cole Palmer, right? While Saka has his tricks and its contribution, right? For me, I would start Cole Palmer. But guess what? You could actually play both of them. You could actually play both of them. Palmer at the middle, Saka off the right, like he normally
Yeah.
does, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you have to say bench one, start one, in my opinion, for me right
Yeah.
now at Mirror
Yeah.
Drex, I would get Palmer in there. Maybe not in the
Uh,
right wing,
okay.
maybe behind the striker. See, I have to pick one of them. I'll get Palmer behind the striker because I know Palmer could drift out right and come back in the
Yeah.
middle. But Saka, on the other hand, will he be able to function properly in that? Like really play? I see Palmer as a 10. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
might disagree, but I see him as a 10, right? And who could also do a job at the right wing. He could do a job across
True.
the front three, left wing, right wing, 10, right? So, but Saka maybe could do a good job at the left wing, which because he's left
Left wing
footed.
back.
He's left footed for sure. Right, obviously right wing. We know how what he's done tremendously well at the right wing. But the 10th position is where I'm looking. Okay, can Saka really give me that? But Palmer can give me that. That's my opinion. I feel for me, if I have to
Yeah.
pick, I would pick Palmer. But guess what? Hey, the two of them can
All
play.
day.
The two of them can play,
All day.
bro.
Me, I will take Palmer, man. I'll take Palmer all day because when you watch on the Euros, I did not know how Cole Palmer did not even get many game time. Because I believe that so many people whereby when you watch them play, Cole Palmer should be starting ahead most of them, even including Saka as well. Yes, he might have scored a goal in the Euros, but the honest truth is that like when Kopama comes in, he does things. You can see things happening immediately. He comes in, you can see his impact. But with Saka, yes, he was playing well, but I don't think he really had a good game in the entire tournament. You could want to say he was one of the England best player, but I believe if there was a good manager that know what he's all about, I think Kopama will be starting ahead of even probably Foden as well,
Yeah,
because
I
like you
think
said,
that question should is what we should look at. Folding
yeah,
or Palmer, who should start?
okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I know if you have Cole Palmer, you could also have Saka, and that would
Mm-hmm.
bring the best of that right wing connection. Saka would flourish with a Cole Palmer in the team. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Saka will put in more numbers with a Cole Palmer in the team
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
compared to a Phil Foden. Phil Foden he has been trained to play a certain type of football,
System.
right? Yes, system whereby if he goes, he struggles with a different type. Why the likes of Palmer can adjust because guess what?
Mm.
It's not like their job is easy, far from it, but it's more like hand in glove. Yo, go play the 10. Because for me, he fits in that 10, right? Go play the
Yeah.
right wing.
Yeah.
He would fit in because if he had the only problem Palmer might have with the right wing is if his fullback is not overlapping. But in England, they have Walker, they have Arnold, so they have people that can
Mm.
overlap.
Trippier as well.
Trippier as well. So I think the case should be for Palmer and Foden. Because if you say Palmer
Awesome.
and Saka, I would take
Awesome.
Palmer all day.
Mm-hmm. I'll still take Palmer over Foden as well. I'll still take Palmer over Foden as well. Well, let's move on. Drex. I think I will leave that Ateta and this thing for the last
Yeah.
one. So now, what I want to say is this now. We have seen Di Maria career, we've seen Eden Hazard. Now the question is this, man: who had a better career between Di Maria and Eden Hazard?
Bro, that's a tough one. You know why I said that's a tough one? Because Di Maria played for Real Madrid and he was influential. He was
Yeah,
he was helpful for Real Madrid. What's the other guy? Hazard we didn't really get to see Hazard
no,
at Real Madrid, right? Now Di Maria went on to play for United, which was a total failure. Not really total failure. He did contribute, but I don't think
yeah,
he liked the place. Right. Then went on to PSG, did his bit at PSG. He's instrumental. He was instrumental for for Argentina in the World Cup as well as the Copa America, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
even whilst when he was at Real Madrid, it was instrumental because part of the people that actually was doing the assists and all the work, right? So Eden
Yeah.
Hazard on
Yeah.
the other hand, because don't forget, Di Maria won I think he won the Champions League and also the La Liga, right? On
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
hand,
Yeah. Yeah.
Eden Hazard, although whilst I would say he won the Champions League, but didn't really work for it,
It didn't
right?
contribute to it.
He didn't really contribute to it. But the time I think he won Champions League with Chelsea before he was sold. So
Hmm.
yes. So for me, it's a very difficult call. But Eden Hazard was very instrumental for Chelsea with with the
Hmm.
Premier League and the UEFA Champions League. In that time, Mourinho was there and all of that, right? But if it comes down to who do I pick, I know a lot of United fans might not agree, might be angry at what I'm about to say, but I take Di Maria, bro.
All day.
It's not a
For me,
case
I'll
of
take.
it's not a case of bias. It's just a case of
Hmm. Who is
what we
better?
saw. I don't
Hmm.
want to say, oh, if Di Maria, if Hazard wasn't injured, he would have cooked at Real Madrid,
Real
right?
Madrid.
That's an if. That's a very big condition. He wasn't. It was
Hmm.
so it didn't give us the opportunity to make that decision, to see that part that we can actually add to the variable and to our sample size and be like, okay, you know what, we saw what he did at Real Madrid, it was good, and no, but because availability, they say, is also is also a part of it, a skill, right?
Hmm.
I know it wasn't
Yeah.
down to him, his fault. He got injured and he struggled with the injury, right? But don't forget, Di Maria also in his one time in his career got injured and he came back, right? So
Yeah.
looking at
True.
putting everything with an holistic view and what they've done for their team, it's not like Di Maria was just somebody that was being carried. No, he actually carried people. I will tell you, a
Hmm.
Messi in the Argentine squad without a Di Maria will struggle. The minute you send a Di
Yeah.
Maria on the pitch, and he has a way of finding Messi. Messi has a way of just flourishing, right? Not the
Yeah.
Messi
Yeah.
of not
True.
the young Messi at Barcelona, the Messi that moved from Barcelona to PSG. That's the Messi I'm talking
Hmm.
about, right? So
Yeah.
even at PSG, Di Maria also contributed his bit. World Cup, even the
True.
just concluded Copa America, Di Maria
Yeah.
was there. The Argentina were struggling. The minute you send Di Maria on, bro, there's a goal. There's this freedom that Messi gets. There's this unlocking that comes from Messi and the other teammates. So for me, I would say, in my opinion, what I saw, the sample size I was given, I would say Di Maria.
Vegeta.
Yeah, hopefully I'm back now. I had to switch devices.
Okay.
Cool, cool, cool.
What do you think? What are you going with?
Uh, I like this question because it's not a matter of who do you think is the better player, who had the better
Yeah.
career, right? And if I'm judging careers, I'm gonna judge it based on the successes because a person can be a good player but never live up to the potential of their talent and never achieve anything at their football club. And the reason why I'm adding that
Hmm.
is because then you have to put your medals on the table, you know. And Di Maria has been
Yeah.
successful for both club and country, you know. And I think that's the edge that he has over Eden Hazard. He's been successful for Real Madrid. I think he won the Champions League with them. Successful at PSG. He lifted a World
Hmm.
Cup and Copa Americas with Argentina. So based on the achievements of both players, again, for people who are listening carefully, it's not who's the better player, but who's had the better career. Then Di Maria had the better career of the two, based on the accolades. That's how I'm choosing to
Yeah.
judge it.
Now, even just to add a little bit to what Vegeta is saying, even if you want to take away the accolades, right? Now we want to a little bit dive into the who's better, right? Just a little bit,
Yeah.
Who's
just
better
to
player? Yeah.
scratch the surface a little bit, right? Di Maria wasn't like I said, wasn't a player that was carried. Di Maria was an impactful player, just like Eden Hazard was at Chelsea, and I believe
Hmm.
it would have been the same type of player for Real Madrid if he wasn't injured. He
Hmm.
would have. I
True.
believe that a lot. He would have, right? Because we saw what he did. That like I was saying in the first argument you brought about La Liga and Premiership, right? It would have been an easy cook for him, bro, because they would have afforded giving him the time, and he knows how he has low center of gravity. He can dribble, he can assist, he could You
He's
know, he
press
could score.
resistant, bro.
He press
That guy will.
resistant. So everything about Hazard was top notch. It was just a shame the injury did what it did to him. Right? So
Yeah.
whilst we are
Yeah.
saying that, right, let's not make it look like it's all. I know Vegeta. I like what Vegeta is saying. It's not about who's the better player, who's has more accolade. But let's not just hold on to the accolade and say, okay, he has more than Eden Hazard. That's why. No, no, no. Di Maria. Let's put it out there. Di Maria is a very good player. Every team
Hmm.
he's joined, he was instrumental for them in every way, shape, or form. Same thing at Hazard, but we only saw Hazard at most people actually saw Hazard in his time at
At
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they are both what should we call it, both instrumental players, key players, right? But we
Hmm.
happen to see we are opportune to see Di Maria in at Real Madrid. Even at the time at was it Benfica he moved up from?
Yeah, it was Benfica.
Yeah, even at Benfica, we could see what he did at Benfica, Real Madrid. Even when he came to United, the 1 year spell he had at United, he still contributed to some goals for Falcao, I remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
let's okay, scrap the 1 year at United. He went to PSG. He was instrumental. Now moved to Argentine squad. He was instrumental as well, right? So, whilst we want to, on the one hand, the accolade, we should not forget that this guy actually was a key player for whatever team he was. He found himself.
No, that's true, and that's why I'm
True.
saying I look at both country and club when I'm looking at them, and you see Hazard wasn't able, even at his peak, he wasn't able to deliver for
Belgium.
Belgium. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
wasn't able to do what Di Maria did for Argentina because this is an uncomfortable thing. But Messi wasn't always the best player for Argentina.
Oh, I said
No,
100%. I said it.
honestly, 100%.
Whether people like it or not, it was players like Di Maria that helped Messi achieve his long life dream of lifting a World Cup. And I think that's
Yeah.
what that fine line is what differentiates them. Now, in our league, if you were asking me a different question, oh my gosh, at their peaks, I'm taking Hazard, bro. Man was unplayable in the league. I hated playing against that guy, bro. Every time we went against Chelsea and I saw that number 10 shirt, bro, I knew it's a long day for us. But who has the better career? I don't think there's a reason to go back and forth unless anybody wants to play devil's advocate and try
Yeah.
to make a case for Aiden Hazard. I don't see it objectively, personally.
Honestly, man. Honestly, it's always be Maria. Now, to Liverpool, because we've seen that Mosala, there's an headline that came outside
Yeah.
saying Mosala will leave
Yes, for
Liverpool
free,
at
for
the end of the
nothing,
season for free.
for nothing.
For free.
Look at these ones.
do, do you think do you think this, like what is this, man? I don't know how they fumbled it because for me, they fumbled it, man. They had the opportunity of selling Mosala for 220 million
I was about
pounds
to say.
to Al Ittihad to Saudi Arabia, and they decided not to, like. But now, like, what is your say? What do what do you have to say about the whole thing, man?
You want to go first, Drake, or me?
Okay, you could go first because go ahead,
I
Vegeta.
think, are you having a laugh, bro? Are you are you having a laugh, bro? A player that brought you guys your league and Champions League is going away for free. Brother, this is almost on the same level as Paul Pogba, right? We brought him in for like 90 and then we lost him twice for free. We basically loaned him out for 90. These guys are making a loss. They're not making anything on this investment. The only thing they got was two trophies. They chose not to capitalize
Yeah.
for what reason? I don't understand Liverpool, bro. The same. Then they're gonna say they don't have money tomorrow. That's the thing that makes me laugh. You know what I'm saying? The Liverpool people are gonna be like, "We're
Hmm.
broke," but it's like you had an opportunity, just like with Coutinho. Because remember, Coutinho was a very integral part of Liverpool squad when Jurgen Klopp joined. But that money allowed
Hmm.
them to get two players in Allison and Van Dijk. So yes, it was a
Yeah.
piece they lost, but they were able to reinvest it in the club. So think about Liverpool with 200 million, bro. Yes, you lose Mo Salah and his goals, but it's not like Klopp was such a bad manager that you couldn't replace um what you call this
Mosala.
Salah and still try to compete. Because even with Salah, it's not like they won.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like you won, but Jurgen Klopp is still a good enough manager that you reinvest the money, you refresh the squad, and he goes again. So for me, it's a flop, it's a loss, it's pie in the face. I don't care what Liverpool fans say. This is embarrassing.
Honestly, man. Honestly.
For me, for me, I said it last year, right? I said it last year when the reports were there that Liverpool, a club from Saudi was interested in Mo Salah, right? And I'm like, yo, take it now, take it now, take it
Yeah.
now, take it now, and do whatever you want to do with that money. Take it right now and fix, and you could do something with that money, right? But I think Klopp played a blinder to all of them. Klopp was thinking, okay, if I have this guy this one more season, and I do that thing where I tell them I'll be leaving at the end of the season, they would galvanize, they would run around and fight for me, and I would win, and I would go out. There
Yeah.
was so many permutations we could actually put it into, and maybe Klopp was like, you know what, don't do that. We'll find a way to tie him to a new contract, or maybe extend, and you guys can sell to the Saudi. And Salah is an African. I would tell you this: Salah is an African, right? He's wise. Now, Salah knows he is. Salah knows that if these guys don't make a move next season, I'm not staying. Except they come out with something that would be so mouth-watering that he would be like, you know, I'll stay, right? And I said it last season. He will be the face. I know Ronaldo is the face of the Saudi league right now, but
Yeah.
Salah is Muslim. He's going to a
Yeah.
Muslim
Yeah. Yeah.
country, right? I know he
Yeah.
has his ways with the media, how he rattles them, especially for Christmas and all of that, right? But don't forget, he's still a conk Muslim. Doesn't change his faith and all of that. It will be good for their league. And guess what? The money, whatever sign-on bonus that is coming, will be straight to Salah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's the
so
problem, man.
that will go straight to Salah. It's not a case of. So for me, now, I would want to hear. I know Liverpool will say we only bought him for what 30 or 40 m's,
Ah,
right? It's nothing compared to they start doing. Oh, you guys sold this person for XYZ and all of that, right? I know
Yeah.
it's not compared to what United have done in the case of Pogba, right? But bro,
Yeah.
there was for us nobody was offering to give us 200
200.
m's 200
Sure.
m's for
Sure.
I believe if somebody
Sure.
offered us 200 m's for Pogba. If we still had Pogba and the league came and said 200 m's for Pogba, I know Pogba would want to go for the money, but we would have sold him for that money, for that price, right?
We would have
So
forked him out, bro. We would have put him on a wheelbarrow and said, "Give us our money, bro."
for me, coming here, big up Luan. Yeah, Luan, I was away for over the weekend, Thursday till I came back to base. I was in your city over the weekend. So for me, it's a case of what did you guys just do?
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen, but I would wait for when it happens and ask them the question. How did you guys let 220 m's just go like that? Bro,
20 million.
even if it's a
I will never.
hundred, bro, somebody that you've used up to that age, somebody that's played for you up to that age, has won you two trophy, like my bro Vegeta is saying right there. He you know, bro, 100 m's. You know fully well that 100 m's would balance your books for you in terms of other things. Will make you even strengthen. You can as well that 100 m's now maybe the likes of Nico Williams that Barcelona was fighting for. You guys would have gone in, right?
Yeah.
And do the so even on that's another way, even the watchmaker. I know his heart was set to go to Real Madrid, but you would have been able to battle Real Madrid for the service of Kylian
Mbappe.
Mbappe because you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
raw
With that
cash.
money.
Yeah,
With
you
that
have raw
lot of
cash
money, you
in
will.
your hand. So it's a case of maybe they were sure it was gonna extend, and maybe they're still sure it's gonna extend. But if they let this one go, because that's money, bro. If they could
Man.
do it for an Ederson who they sold Ederson, right, made profit. Or I don't. Why didn't they do it for Salah? But it is
Yeah.
what is their headache. It's not mine. I would just be here to laugh because when we did it with Pogba, they laughed.
They
So
they
I'm
laughed it up.
just going to laugh. See, the tables return, and when it gets to your turn, you better hold it, bro. You better hold it.
You laughed at me. I must say, You're not laughing now, are you?
No. Yeah, yeah. I was there. I was at
Mark,
actually I was at North York, around the Pan Pacific Hotel, not your region. Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Mark.
No,
I don't think it's
Mark is
Mark.
away from his computer.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
Marcus
think it's
Lee.
away.
But I
I
just want to
Uh,
add
I
on.
drove. Let me just answer the one before we move
Okay,
on.
okay.
The one I actually drove from New Brunswick to your place to Toronto. That was like 15 hours drive. But yep, yep.
15.
But
Man,
I made two stop. I made one stop at Ottawa, then yeah, the other one at Angus before I got to. Yeah, let's go, let's go.
man. 15 hours
Mm,
drive. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
that's Joburg to Cape Town.
And yeah, it's even for if Juba to Cape Town, I think it's 20. Okay,
Are you
it's basically
serious? Is that
16,
far?
17 hours.
It's 18 hours
18.
if you one shot it from Joburg to Cape
Yeah.
Town.
Are you? But
Yeah.
Now, who is a better manager between Ateta and Unai Emery?
Unai Emery, bro. Finishing twice, finishing second doesn't mean nothing. Okay, it's not an achievement. There's no trophy. You don't even get an attendance register certificate for being second. Second simply
Hmm.
means you are the first loser in the list of losers. You've got
Yeah.
one FA Cup to your name as a manager. Please, let's stop doing this. Emery's got actual European pedigree. He's got trophies, bro. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh it's just that Arsenal, I don't know why them and Arsenal didn't gel together. But as it stands, I still think Unai is still the better manager, bro, than Arteta.
Mr. Drex.
this one is kind of a tricky one because okay, I'm gonna drop my bias aside. I don't like Arsenal, so anything that's got to do with Arsenal, I don't want to hear it, right? But that being said, I still feel like Unai Emery.
Hmm.
Right, Unai Emery is his time at Arsenal wasn't so great. Let's not take that away. But I felt
Yeah.
like they didn't really
Back him.
they not back him like that. It was more like they wanted to test the waters, right? With Asawenga was leaving and they were getting Una Emery, so they were thinking, okay, do you know how they were doing going into the season when they had Asawenga, right? Top up here or
Yeah.
there, and they were hoping that okay, Una Emery because of his exploits in Europe, maybe we just galvanize them, right? But they failed to actually back the man like they did with Arteta,
Mm,
right? They did
Yeah.
not. I feel like if they had hold up for another 2 years, right? Their decision to stick with him would have materialized to something very very positive. No, because you could see what he's doing at Aston Villa. We've seen what he did at Sevilla, right? The only problem
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have with him at Sevilla is he never really galvanized Sevilla to be a Champions League team. It was always he always fell short back into the Europa League. But once he got into the Europa League, he finds his way to the final and finds a way to win it, right? But Arteta, on the other hand, if he takes on the it's the same question we asked with Pep. If he takes on the Aston Villa team where Una Emery took it up from, with
Yeah.
the backing Una Emery had that time, it wasn't so much um enough backing. Una Emery just galvanized them. He made them see the reason to back him, right? But
mm,
in the
Hmm.
case of Arteta, they had to back him, right, for Arsenal, regardless of what the situation was, because it was a project for them, a young manager coming into the blocks, and they have to stick with him and provide him all the materials they need to make it successful. But in the case of Una Emery, he went to Aston Villa with his pedigree and all of that, giving it one of two tools, and he did what he did. I'm like, you know what, this guy could be the real deal. Let's put our strength behind him. And we saw what he did with Aston Villa coming out fourth. One hand, people could say, okay, the likes of United and Chelsea and the regular top six, they struggled. That's why he got to sniff at top four, right? But bro, if you don't take your chances when people are struggling, when else do you want to do it, right? So for
Exactly.
me,
Yeah.
it's I would go with Unai Emery because he's done things that now this is his third club, in my opinion. For let's not even forget. So for me, in terms of Sevilla, Arsenal, and I think he even coached. I can't remember where he coached last, but Sevilla, Arsenal, and
Sevilla, Villarreal,
Villarreal,
Villarreal as
yeah,
well.
yeah, and now at Aston Villa, right? So for me, the question is, can Ateta go to an
Aston
Aston
Villa.
Villa in the
Mm.
year that Ateta went there and galvanized them and pushed them into the top four? Right. So that's for me, that's the question. And this season again, if Una does take them, keep them in that top four spot or get them to win, because he's going to be in the Champions League, and I think the
Yeah.
format now is where if you lose out of the Champions League, you don't get knocked into the Europa League, you're out, right? So let me see what he can do in the Champions League. So
In a
yeah,
way, if all them might permit me to speak, good night, everybody. Big up to everyone joining. What's good? What's good? If
Yeah,
you're,
we're good. We're good.
I
We're good.
kind of agree with Drex, but I kind of disagree in a
Okay.
technicality sense because I feel like okay, yes, Unai Emery, I would say he's a better coach. He coached Villarreal for some years, then he went to Arsenal, then he went to Sevilla. You know what I mean? And one thing in common is he wins some titles. It mightn't be every season, but every other season he at least is bring home something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in my honest opinion, like okay, in two ways, I would say I don't think Arteta could do a job if he don't have the funding to rebuild a squad in his image. If he have to turn a squad into his image, basically like what Unai Emery had to do at Sevilla, because Sevilla is not a wealthy club. In Spain, it's a different set of proportions that the funds is be distributed to teams in terms of for the sponsorship or the media coverage. You know what I mean? Like in England, everybody does get a divisible figure equivalent, basically. You know what I mean? So everybody getting, let me say, 140, 50 million, give or take the top 10 from the bottom, they might get slightly 10 to 20 million more, maybe 40, that we give or take, say. But average, everybody getting 100 million. That's not the case in Spain. In Spain,
Mm-hmm.
Real Madrid and Barcelona get like 50%, and the other 50% is, or 40, I think they get 20% each, and the other 60% is shared between the rest of clubs. So it's a lot lesser figure. Like these teams just get way more money than the rest of clubs. So in a way, it's kind of difficult for Spanish teams to compete with English teams on the same level in terms of squad rebuild. Most Spanish teams is rebuild the squad from youth teams, trades, and stuff like that. So it's a different kind of situation. And if you look at it, that situation is close to the situation that happened at Man United in the last couple of years because managers at United are expected to build on the squad, bring in youth, and of course they'll get a few signings in between that come in from outside. But at the same time, largely as a United fan, we are the fan base that expect youth to be promoted. We expect the coaches to improve some of the players we have in the squad. So largely, I think Ateta kind of get off a little bit scot free on the whole situation when it comes to actually developing the talent that he meet at the club. If you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. You
At
get
the
your
end of the
point.
day, I think what it really boiled down to is the fact that Arteta don't really win titles. Now he's a young coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young coach. So as much as he doing, I mean, he came second twice in one of the best leagues in the world of football in the last two seasons. He's still a young coach. He still have a lot to learn, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say that he is a elite coach. I would say he's a top coach, but I would still say coaches like Unai Emery and thing have steps ahead of him because they know how to get a title, and that's the only
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Understand.
I agree,
Big up to you,
bro.
Tommy. Big up to you. Big up to you, Tommy. Big up to you, Tommy. Thanks for jumping, joining us, man. Now, another thing I want to talk about is this, man. Real quick, man. We've seen that Ipswich, you know, they are going to sign Armando Broyak, and if they stay in the league, they will pay 30 million to Chelsea. The question I want to ask is this, guys, man. Why is it difficult for Manchester United to actually get a decent fee for players? Because Amanda Broya, I don't. We all know what he's all about. And now there's a like they can't even get 25 million for Scott McTominay. And the one that pisses me off the most is this I saw this statement, you know, a lady posted this on Twitter and it says 6 million euros is ridiculous for a regular starter for Uruguay with potential he has. A player who always work hard and I believe got a lot of talent. I wish him all the
Well,
best. Now she's talking about Pelistri.
yeah.
History, yeah.
So for me,
It's-
do you
You
think
see, with
6 million?
United,
Yeah.
you see, with United, it's weird. It's a weird one. I don't know if the guys would agree because we technically, besides you, we all as United fans here on the panel, right? So it
Mhm.
is it's a weird one, and the perspective I look at it from is two perspectives. One of hate and jealousy, subconscious hate and jealousy, because if you really look at it, clubs would be willing to pay and almost any other club in the Premier League upwards of 10 million for any player easily.
Mm,
I would say that when we're talking about academy level, right? Because Palestri, he would be considered a homegrown player. So why would they do it for United? Well, in the last 6 to 7 years, our youth academy was not really doing anything. We was not finishing the top half of the tables. We was barely scraping third in some occasions. It wasn't one of the
Mhm.
best academies. No, Chelsea, City, Crystal Palace, Arsenal academies were all consistent over the last couple 5 years. Now, in the last 2 years, United Academy finished third in all levels. They finished second, and this season we was topping of the charts in most of the on the levels, right? Now, we win the youth treble as well. So this season it might have a little different situation, but at the end of the day, United had a poor transfer strategy for the last decade. That affects everything. It's not just it's one thing as a fan you could turn around and say, well, these players have the talent, they have a similar talent, equivalent talent to some of the players coming out of Chelsea, City, you name it. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, we've been run so terribly. We've always sold young players for next to peanuts. So it almost as though they know when they come to United, they're getting a cheap deal.
mm,
Maybe you could say is United doing a favor to lesser teams as a bigger club because we have so much we give. I mean, I'm not saying that lightly, bro. I kind of being sarcastic when I'm saying that, to be fair. But at the same time, realistically, I feel partly is mostly to do with the fact that our transfer strategies has been terrible over the last decade, and the fact that a lot of clubs and rival fans, they generally hate United. I mean, they regret. There is more. It's not. I wouldn't say hate, but they resent United for the fact that we dominated for such a long period of time. Most of them grew up United winning almost every time. Every time United, United. So subconsciously, no one wants to see United do well. No one wants to supply United with the funds and ammunition to
Mhm.
improve. So they'll always find it hard to. I think they'll always find it hard to purchase from United. But in this particular transfer window, if you look at the average prices we sold some young players for, is in my opinion is much more than we average sell players for before. We'd have sell 5 players for 5 million, bro. So
mm.
getting one player out for 5 to 9 to 10 million pounds right now, United doing good. No, that might sound really laughable, bro. That might sound really laughable, but I'm sure any one of the other guys here could chime in and say that because if we look at all the young players we sell in the last couple of years, recently Mark Curado, even if you look at this
Ikba.
Alvarez, this young youth man, Alvaro Fernandez, 3 to 5 million euros. Mark Curado went for 1 million, 1.3 million. I mean, it is something that we have never really done well at. Like, I mean, one of the biggest sales in the last couple of seasons was the 10 million we sold this young player to Everton. I keep forgetting his name. And
Ghana.
James Garner.
James Garner was 10 million with a +2 or something, depending. So in honest and fairness, I think this is the level United sales strategy at the current moment. I think it will definitely improve, but for now is not where it should be, and it's hard pressed to say otherwise. What
Mm.
really is the cause other than that? You know what I mean? From my perspective.
Yeah, I
I
think
know
they
what.
see.
So, yeah,
Oh,
go
sorry.
on.
Now I was gonna say this. I think there's several factors, and I think Mark touched on the main one, which was the team that we had before. Because now that we've got this new shiny toy called Ineos, everybody's expecting Harry Potter to pop out of the hood and just perform some magic. When the reality is, for a decade, we had people putting our players on astronomical wages, which we've struggled to sell because of that. Also, as a factor, if you got like I don't know, a Fred or a Scott McTominay on like 150, and then you want them to go to a West Ham who are only willing to pay 90. It's a problem,
Hmm.
because they're gonna say,
True.
if we're either gonna make up the contract or they have to take a pay cut. It can't be, both of them. So that bad running of the club has always been a factor, and I think it's also infiltrated the youth system. When you compare us to like your Chelseas and Man Cities, I don't know who it was said that the whole youth infrastructure needed like a revamp. I think it was Vagal. He said the whole youth infrastructure as a whole needed a revamp just because of how poorly run it was. So those things, they add up, bro. Because if you're not sure, those clubs that can sell their youth players who haven't kicked a ball have evidence of certain players succeeding. So it's almost as
Hmm.
if there's a testament of the quality of the product. So there must be something right that that club is doing that puts faith. Because sometimes you buy a product um based on its like what it's known for. But you might not have tasted it or used it before, but you've heard good reviews from other people, and you buying the quality. Like, I've never owned a Ferrari, but I'm assuming it's a good car because everybody says so, and I'm gonna pay the premium to get the car because of its reputation. You get me? So because we've had a poor strategy, reputation, just as a whole, and I think people are realizing that with the way emails are moving, we have to repair that. Beyond buying players and selling them, we almost have to repair how people look at United. Because when before this season, remember, you had Ed Woodward and Co walking into boardrooms, having drinks and trying to negotiate stuff, and they didn't know what they were talking about. So now it's almost as if Ineos have to kind of show people to say, "Dude, we've got the right people at the table. Like, you have to take us seriously. We're not mucking about you. What are you talking about?" I mean, I even respect the fact that they wouldn't let Scott go for less than 30, because those are people who actually know what the hell they're talking about. And if Fulham doesn't want him, well, good for us. There's other teams that want him and would pay that amount. But it's just a matter of reputational damage, bro, that we're trying to fix at the end of the day because of poor ownership.
Yo, Scott McTominay going to Napoli, yeah. So I mean,
No, he
It's
was he
happening.
was he was talking about Fulham. Like, if Fulham
Fulham.
don't want to
yeah,
come,
yeah, yeah.
but
Like, let me be honest, bro. Like, some fans, okay, honestly, we are Manchester United, yes, but we are not the Manchester United of old. This team for
no.
the last 5, 6 seasons have not been performing well. If you look, and then, like I always tell fellas, bro, like, even on when we stream and I'm thinking, look how we just react to some of our players during the game. You don't see Arsenal fans doing that. You don't see Chelsea fans doing that. As a matter of fact, they just overrate their players. You know what I mean? During the game, we just make so much heavy criticisms of some players and some little things that they do, that is almost,
Yes.
and is a general rule of thumb among United fans, especially the social media fan base, bro. Like, the criticism is so real. And when it turn it around, we doing this to these players for years. And then we try to sell the players and want to know why nobody want to pay for them, bro. Is
Yeah.
we doing this to ourselves?
Yes, I
It's
was
like,
gonna say that's the
you
other
know,
external factor, is the fact that us as fans undervalue them. So when we see the club say, for instance, last season we wanted 40. This was when Scott had 2 years, mind you, not one. We said we wanted 40, and United fans, this is before anybody else comes to the table. 40. What are you guys talking about? You guys are high. You can't sell Scott for 40. Nobody's paying 40. And then, well, Ineos are saying with 1 year left, it's 30. So clearly, we were the ones who didn't know what we were talking about. But because we already don't value our players, we're allowing other people to also undervalue them, which is, yeah, self sabotage.
mm,
For me, right, it's a case of, it's several factors. One, Pelestri going to Panathinaikos, where was Panathinaikos the only club that were coming in for him?
no,
Were they the one that actually met United's valuation to some extent, right? Because you could go on the you and I, all four of us could go to the mall right now. We want to get a TV, right? Good
Mm.
TV. you go to the mall and you see this TV and you're like, yo, I like this TV, but the asking price, right? It's not what you have in your pocket, or it's not what you're willing to pay. So you could, if the club puts a price and nobody wants to pay, or if, take for example, Fenerbahce, they like coming to the Turkish team, they like coming to United to offer peanuts for our players, right? And if no other team is coming in, and the club has to make a decision of, okay, do we keep this player on this wage, right? Or do we sell and get this player's wage off the book? So these are so many factors that they look at. I'm like, is this surplus to requirement? For me, I've always said it. I don't see. Even before it was sold, I didn't think he was going to play the season. Palestri, right? I know a lot of people rave
Yeah.
about him. I saw him play for Uruguay. I'm like, okay, if they sell him, if he doesn't play for United this coming season, there's no force to be made here because I've seen this guy, and I don't think the manager actually. There's nothing. There's nothing spectacular about Pelastri's play that will make the manager want to bench the likes of Garnacho, Ahmad, or even Anthony for him. So moving him on to where he could play football, it's one thing. Now we're talking about players, how the fans actually belittle their own players, like what Marcus said. It's like an everyday thing, every day. Take for example, a club, Manchester United say they want to sell Ericsson for 5 million. Ericsson for 5 million, right? And a lot of fans are like, are you having a laugh? What are you smoking? Ericsson for 5 million. You better give
Yeah.
him up for free. And how do
Well,
you
look, a guy in the comments here was saying that saying worse than that, bro. He was like, if we could sell Palestri for €6 million, why we can't just chuck out Ericsson a contract? It's somewhere here in the chat, bro.
yo
Swear to you, bro. I
Yeah,
was
I
how,
saw
reading
it.
the chat and I
how
want
do
that like
how do
these
you do
people
that?
is beyond crack here, the things they're saying, bro.
How
And
do
then
you
they
do
want
that,
to know,
man?
bro. Sometimes I just want to ask fans, what is our definition of the club doing good deeds or doing things the right way? Is it doing what we want or what's best for Manchester United, the football club? Because when you see a statement like that, releasing Evans and Ericsson, bro, how does that even compute? Like, of course, we know Evans was given an extension, bro. We know why Evans was given an extension. He's not a starter. He might start some games, but he really there to provide experience to the youth
And
because Evans
cover.
has won titles. He know what it is to be a red. So we know why. But Ericsson, when Ericsson came in, I remember, bro. I remember when we were signing Ericsson on a free, and I was like, why the hell we signing Ericsson on a free? And everybody trying to convince me that Ericsson is this master creator number 10. But brother, let me tell you something. He couldn't get into the Serie A because he have a PCR in his chest. You understand what that means? That means that that brother could only run for 60 minutes, bro. And not even 2, 3 times a week. And that was since we buy him. Now, the fact that we are a high pressing team now make it even worse for him. But the biggest problem is that it seems like recently he's been saving himself for Denmark. Because when I watch this brother for Denmark, bro, this brother's jersey wet. This brother
Yeah. He
physical, combative, everywhere across.
plays
But
well.
when this brother playing for United, he can't mash our hands. Now I could understand why fellas say we need to get rid of these guys, but we need to do deals that could get the best value for what United need right now. Now I'm not saying we
Hmm.
should sell Scott McTominay for 30 million, bro. I'd take 20 and bounce. You understand? Because I would have say, you
Hmm.
know what, horses for courses, bro. I go take a big loss this season, but I know coming in the next couple of years, we have more young talent. We could probably make a profit on some of those sales. And some of the players, bro, might up their performance. We might get a better deal, bro. Sell. If you understand what I'm saying. But you have to look at it
Yeah.
also from a perspective where a lot of the deals that we done in the last 2 seasons with young players was presetted deals done by the likes of John Murtaugh
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Richard
yeah,
Arnold.
yeah.
Like Eric Ten Hag said in an interview, I wanted these young players, but I had no choice but to let them go because these deals were done beforehand. It was already out of my hands. And he was referring to Mark Jurado and Alvaro Fernandez. So when we did the UEFA and stuff that we had before, the previous regime was taking young players and gifting them to other clubs without consideration for the manager or without consideration for the prospect of United advancing using those said players. And then, is a situation where fans who don't know these things will blame Eric Ten Hag, will blame the club, will say, well, look, why are we giving away with these youngsters? Why are we selling all these youngsters? But the reality is, I know a lot of fans have this belief, well, every single youngster coming through the academy that's super, that talented, have to be in the team. But in all fairness and honesty, not let me just say out of 10, maybe 2 or 3 might make it, bro. If we get 5 or 6, we lucky. If you
Mhm.
understand what I mean, because there's no real way you could develop 7, 8 youngsters that come out of our youth team into our first team in one season. Now United is still do an amazing job at this, to the sense that, well, every single season you see at least 3, 4 youngsters getting debuts and having a decent amount of game time. But still, bro, it's like it doesn't seem like it's enough for fans. At the same time, I feel like it's a give and take situation, and sometimes as fans we have to take a step back and allow the club to do things, because we don't know the inner workings as well as they do. And as much as we might see some of the talent and say, hey, we need this, maybe in all fairness, some of the talent either not ready, or maybe it have somebody else in mind already there for that position. However,
That's true, man, and that's true. Now, this guy called Oyedele, I think he's going to be sold to Lega Wasa because
mm,
it's coming. Maxi Oyedele will be coming with Lega Wasa player, full agreement with Manchester United, 500K fee, 50% sell-out clause. Then they put a 15 million buyback clause on him, 500,000, and
Well,
the boy looked good, man.
how much do you want to sell him to get look at where it's going to legal Warsaw? How much do you want to sell him?
no, well, I mean, though, to be fair, bro, like this is the next question I was going to ask Banks. When you bring up
Yeah,
that comment, big up, bro, big up halftime, bro, big up,
big
brother.
up, big up, Vegeta. Big up to
What I
you.
mean, all the time, my brother. But at the same time, I would just say, Banks won. Maxio Deli, in my honest opinion, bro, I've been watching the youth team for the last 4.5 seasons, and Maxio Deli has a bag of talent, a bag of quality, and all the mechanics. But for the life of me, bro, he never really show. He will show moments, but never really consistently shown it. And this is why now we have a new loans officer, and I will call him a loans officer to make it simple for everybody. He's the guy dealing with all the loans for the young players. He dealing directly with the academy and Jason Wilcox on how we go and develop these youngsters going forward, right? So they have a new strategy. They're going to loan some players so that they don't stunt their development. And for players who they're not quite sure if they won't, they would develop the way that they expected them to, they will sell them on the cheap, or sell them to teams that come in for them, want them. That way they know the player will get time to develop at the club, and they'll put in like buyback clauses and sell on clauses for them. So in a fair assessment of this, I think this is a big step going forward for United, because we haven't done those things before. Look at what
Okay.
we
Yep,
did with Paul
yep.
Pogba and some of the other players that we sold. The other Charlie McNeil that we sold, who was a United player, and then he went to Leicester and banged goals. And we could have been getting sell-on clauses from some of these players that we didn't. We could have had buyback clauses for lots of these players and didn't. So now that we're doing those things, small steps, progress don't come in big strides all the time, and it might not look amazing, but you can't instill a precedent all in one.
I,
Sometimes you have to build up to the precedent.
let me
And I
just
think a
add
lot of
this.
fans want, the dead wood. I mean, for one thing, we need to stop referring to some players as dead wood. I think that's a phrase we need to kill as a fan base. The next thing is like expectantly. We all spoke about it, and most people didn't expect 4 or 5 players to leave. They thought maybe 2 or 3, just the ones that who contracts was ending. So the fact that 6, 7, 8 players already leaving the club, despite 2 of them being players that we would have liked to keep, and I'm talking about Kwambala, you know what I mean, as one of them, and maybe have a run. You know, the rest of them, we didn't expect all of that. We already bought 4 players, and Drex, you know, most of everybody assumed we was probably gonna buy 2 or 3 players, and we bought 4, and it have a fifth one on the way, probably in the next 24 hours. So, in my honest opinion, they actually exceeded what we all expected of them initially. Why we why we complaining? Is a road back, bro. And when your club decides are United and you do rubbish for a decade, bro, we lucky we wasn't finishing 10th and 12th and 15th
100%,
like Chelsea,
100.
8, 8, 8, fifth and sixth, like Arsenal, 8, 9, 7, fifth, like Liverpool. We lucky we never hit those lows, bro. We finished 8 once in that decade. No, well, yeah, we finished 7th and we finished 8th, fifth twice, I think. You know what I mean? 6th once. But just imagine, guys, just imagine how bad it could have been. Because in that time, we still win titles.
The thing I want to add here is people feel like the Sajim and his group have been here for ages, bro. And people have this notion whereby you snap your finger and it's all done. Abracadabra and it's all done. Bro, 10 years of decay, 10 years of mismanagement is not fixed in one season. And whilst what Mark has been trying to put out there is we don't see deals like this in the past. Ask me, when was the last time did you hear us actually selling um 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 an academy player out of the football club with a buyback and a set fee, no, with a sell-on clause percentage and a set fee for a buyback? When? I'm telling you, if Ineos were in charge of that Ghana deal to Everton, there would have been a sell-on clause there, and there'd have been a buyback clause in that as well at the fee, right? So let's not make it look. Now I know this guy is saying, why are we selling our youngsters, bro? Not all the youngsters that play for your academy, not all of them will don the United shirt and actually be a great. No, not all. Not all of them are going to be the class of 92. Guess what? Even the class of 92, Giggs, Scholes, Beckham, and Gary Neville with Phil,
Granevy.
they had people in that same class of 92 that did not make it into that lineup. It wasn't just the 5 of them or the 6 of them that made up the class of 92. No, 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 no. They had other team members that didn't make it through. So not everybody's going to make it into the senior team, right? This is where the academy, it's an academy. Some players will go through the academy that you might not end up hearing about, right? And they will go on to do bigger things, and they will tell you, "Oh, we used to be at United Academy," and you'll be wondering, "Okay,
Yeah.
why did?" But the truth is, sometimes you need to let these guys go find their path and give you back the credit. So if this guy
Yeah.
ends up, if Oyedele ends up being a player for Liga Warsaw, and for some reason Liga Warsaw is being bought by, maybe, let me give you an example. Let's say Real Madrid finds him very interesting and Real Madrid buys him, right? Whilst a lot of fans will be like, "Oh, why did United not give him the chance and all of that?" Don't forget the credit still goes to United, because it will be said that United produced the United's academy produced the player. So we shouldn't just all be looking at these things from the angle of negativity all the time.
True. That's true.
Not every player would. Banks, you and I know not everybody that finished secondary school actually ends up in university, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
some
true,
people
true,
that don't
true.
end up in the university end up doing well than those that end up in the university.
Big time.
It's not an
Big time.
automatic. It's not a you play for United Academy, you'd have to be in the first team like Marcus Rashford or Kenacho or Maino, right? No, it's not like that. Even the time of Maino, there were other team members of his team that didn't make it. So I know people look at the price 500 and all of that, but if this boy goes out to be a superstar, United already said, okay, if he be a superstar and his value skyrocket up to 100 million, bro, we are going to be buying him for 15 million. Whatever the price at that time is, we'll be buying for 15
Yeah.
million. So our prayer now is this boy should go to Liga Warsaw and be the star that everybody is saying that he would be, right? And
Mm-hmm.
make sure, and so that we can actually put back, use that buyback clause and get him back. Because guess what? If he stays at the academy, he's not going to get game time at the we should not be, we should not deceive ourselves. He's not going to, who is he going to play ahead of? We're looking to get Ugarte in. We have Casemiro. We have Kobe Maino. There's Ericsson that's not going anywhere. Are you saying United
Yeah.
should put Ericsson on the back burner and give Oyedele a chance? It's not going to work. Sometimes there are some games that experience would play. So whilst we're upset, take a deep breath and think it through. Rationalize it in your head. I'm like, okay, you know, it is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. It is what it is. We, for in my opinion, we're actually making a good step, and I didn't expect everything to be fixed in one window. Selling a player for 500k, is it good? No. Other clubs have sold more, but putting a sell-on clause and putting a fee for a buyback clause, bro. I just pray the boy does well. The boy tears everywhere up, and we get to use that 50 million and buy him back. That's all I pray for now.
Now it's looking like Samuel Locust just tweeted. Sam Locust. He says that what's his name again? It says here Victor Lindelof is not expected to stay at Manchester United
Well, for me, the Evans won't fall. If he stays at United, the Evans won't fall. The problem I will have is if they give him, offer him another a new contract.
contract.
That's where I'll be pissed, because I'm like, what are you guys doing? If he wants to stay, have his. If he wants to do what the Glazers have been doing in the past years, where they give C players as assets and have them run down their contract, fine. I didn't
Hmm.
expect Rome wasn't built in one day. Not all of them would leave for a fee, you know so not
Yeah.
all of them would be a Fred, not all of them would be the McTominay that we're trying to move on, so not all of them will even be around Wan-Bissaka, who will come to the table and say, okay, let's negotiate so I leave, right? So if
Yeah.
he wants to stay for to run out to see out his contract, so be it, bro. He wouldn't be the first that have seen out their contract. Neither would he be the last. So for me, so be it. Is he's just knows. It just goes to show. He already knows. Like when we have the likes of Euro coming back, right? So he's down way. Right now, he used to be Lindelof ahead of Maguire in the pecking order, but right now
Yeah.
Maguire is ahead of Lindelof. So
Hmm.
Lindelof would, even Johnny Evans is ahead of Lindelof. So Lindelof will be like the bottom of the barrel, right? So whatever it is, if he wants to stay, so be it, bro. So be it. We have games. We have games to play. He might come on for Europa League games and
Carabao
all of
Cup.
that. I
Yeah.
don't. For me, I don't care. If he wants to stay, so be it, bro. So be it.
Plus, he's on a good salary, man. He's on one
One,
120
yeah. So for me, I don't. This don't forget that these guys are humans. Like I always say, even the
Yeah.
media person that we don't like sometimes are humans, right? So they want to
Yeah.
get
True.
the best that they could get, and so be it, bro. So be it. If why
And then
okay,
they.
ask yourself the question. If the thing is, did anybody, if clubs are actually offering something for him and United is saying no, and that's where I would be like, okay, what's happening? This guy's gonna walk out for free next season. What are you guys doing, right? But I would
Mhm.
still try to count on their judgment, right? But if nobody's coming in for him, right, bro? Because if Fenerbahce comes and say they want to pay 3 million, United say, okay, no, let's do 5 million. Then there's a room for negotiation, and Fenerbahce says no, bro, you didn't meet my valuation. I'll keep him for free. You can talk to him next season, whatever you want to do. But if they are bent on, for me, if United are saying, okay, let's recruit anything we can, then let him go for the 3 or the 4 M's. It's not the end of the world. Rather than letting him go for free, take what you can take for him, then knock his wage off the books. And that's how I see these things, though. But if nobody's coming for him and he wants to stay, so be it.
Makes sense. Makes sense, man. Mark, I think
Yo,
it's also off. Okay. What do you have to say about the for round up? What do you have to say about the Lindelof? Do you think he will still? You think he will still leave the club?
I think he should. I think he will leave. I remember the club had an emergency meeting to pay off the contracts of two players. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka was the names that came up. We know that Fenerbahce wants Lindelof. We know that there's an option for centre back on free, which is Mario Hermoso, who could also play left back. I think if we sell Lindelof, we get Mario Hermoso. I think if Christian Eriksen go, we get Adrian Rabiot. And yeah, I mean, I think that would be the roundup of the transfer window. A long random shout would be Adrian Truffet, the left back coming from Rennes. 17 million euros, I think, is the asking price, somewhere between there and 20. I think that's really, really cheap. When they convert that at about 12 to 15 million pounds.
Pounds, yeah.
Let me see how it goes. I think if Scott McTominay leaves, then you see Ugarte come in. You could see more players, but I mean, I just think right now, Lindelof definitely. I would hope that he leaves. If he stays, can't fight it, but it have a January window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true, too. Big up to everybody on the chat. Big up to everybody in the chat, man. Guys, and please join us on Mark's channel. We're doing the bragging right. Bragging right. So, Mark, are you going to put the link? Should in case everybody want to jump in as well to talk about their team.
Yeah. It's a call-in show. I mean, well, Drake's supposed to be. I don't know if Drake's forget, but hopefully he'll be there. It's 10 p.m.
When?
UK, guys. 10
Is
p.m.
it
UK.
today?
So
Today?
basically, in 90 minutes,
Okay, I'll be there. I'm back. I'm
right?
back to my station.
And the plan is to have a call-in show. All football fans are welcome, whether it's a Barcelona fan, Liverpool fan, Juventus fan. It could be a Club America fan. If you want to call in, just call in. You know what I mean? Be respectful, keep it clean, talk about your club, what your club gonna do. To have a next game coming up in the various leagues for each club. The point is to rep your club so you could come out and give a score prediction, how well the team going to perform in the next game, and then probably what you think about your team performance across the season. Whether you're representing Madrid or you're representing, Lille, come in, call in, have your say, and enjoy the show with you guys.
Okay. Big up to everybody in the chat, man. 10 p.m. UK time. Let me just paste this thing here. The page, the channel, YouTube channel, so that you just follow up. Let me paste it real quick.
No, drop the link for the show in the comments if you want.
Okay. I will do that as well.
I don't know if it will paste. I'll drop it in the private
Yeah.
chat because I can't access the comments. So I'll drop it for you and you can share it.
Okay, I
As a
think
link
it will
for the show.
paste. I think it will paste. It should paste. Yeah. So I've dropped it. That's the link there, guys. Please click on this. The link takes you straight to the show. And that's all I have for you guys tonight, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. Please, if you are new, please subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel and like the content. It helps the community tremendously in terms of the algorithm. But what I say from your boy Tama Bags, I'm signing out, guys. I'll see you guys on the bragging rights on Mark's channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Good night.